All right, so Bill Maher has very clearly, at some point within the past year or two, he's made a decision that, I'm gonna flirt more with the right, and I'm gonna call out the left more. It's very clearly tactical, strategic. At some point, he flipped a switch and he said, "This is gonna be my new lane." Look, he's gotten a lot of pats on the back from Fox News and right wingers when he deviates from generally leftish positions. And so he's leaning into it, right? And last week we covered, some Republican brainworm type new rules segment that he did. You can go check out that segment. Well, we have another one for you here. And this one, man, he is jumping the shark and shitting the bed. So I'm not kidding. This whole new rules thing is like DeSantis is right segment mixed with a weird implication that the left is okay with pedophilia. All right, let's break it down.
And finally, new rule. As one of the few people in the public eye who's gone through life and never had kids, someone has to tell me, why am I always having to defend them? I don't even like kids, but I also think it's every adult's job to protect them. Have you all been watching the Max documentary called Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV?
By the way, check that out. It's actually really crazy. A lot of the shows I loved as a kid, like all that, the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, woo, super duper disturbing. Super disturbing.
OMG. Nickelodeon, it wasn't a studio, it was Neverland Ranch with craft services. It is just scene after scene, clip after clip of the child stars of their day being subjected to obviously inappropriate, highly sexualized degradation, and quite a few pickles going through glory holes. I was grossed out, and I've gone camping with John Waters. I kid you, John, I love you. So I don't know if this documentary is the talk of your town, but it is out here because it didn't just expose a dangerous workplace, it also exposed hypocrisy. Because it must be pointed out that when the evil governor of Florida was saying the exact same thing about kids and creepy stuff at Disney that liberals now find intolerable at Nickelodeon, he was dismissed as a hick and a bigot. But why would a kids' content factory like Disney be all that different than the one at Nickelodeon? A 2014 CNN report discovered that at least 35 Disney employees had been arrested for sex crimes against children, and in 2021, Disney child star Allison Stoner confessed she only narrowly survived the toddler-to-train-wreck pipeline. The next year, child star Cole Sprouse told the New York Times that young actresses at the Disney Channel were heavily sexualized from an early age. You know, Willie Sutton said he robbed banks because that's where the money is. And the reason we find pedophiles in the Boy Scouts and the Rectory and kids' TV is that's where the kids are.
What does this have to do with DeSantis being right and the left being wrong? There's no connection there. I don't even know what connection he's trying to make.
DeSantis wasn't wrong, but we're so tribal now, the left will overlook child fucking if the guy from the wrong party calls it out.
That is legitimately one of the most insane things I've ever heard Bill Maher say. In what way, shape, or form is the left saying we're okay with child fucking? Or we're willing to overlook that? He's making up that DeSantis' issue with Disney was like sexual assault and rape and things of that nature by the employees who work there, or the bosses against the younger employees. He's making that up. The issue DeSantis has with Disney is that there's like gay characters in the new Disney movies. That's his issue with Disney. That's what the left is objecting to. This idea that like if you have a gay character as a main character in a Disney movie, that's a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. That is totally fine. Jesus Christ, Bill.
Messed up Amanda Bynes, but the Mickey Mouse Club was where Britney Spears got her start, and she's perfectly fine. And get this, after Brian Peck, who was one of the lead creeps at Nickelodeon, served 16 months in prison for the molesting he did there, Disney hired him.
Yeah. And how the fuck is that the left's fault? How is that the left's fault? That has nothing to do with the left at all. That has nothing to do with the right at all. you had this pedophile who worked at Nickelodeon, you know, because pedophiles are going to try to gravitate to wherever there's kids, where they feel like they could take advantage of them. It's actually a very serious problem, right? But then he went to prison for pedophilia stuff. By the way, it was the kid from Drake and Josh who he did it with. This is all in quiet on set. You have to watch that. And then he gets hired by Disney, which is fucking insane. But you blame Disney for that. You blame, you know, whoever's at the top of Disney, whoever's making those decisions at Disney. You blame, I don't know, maybe they thought, well, this guy ran a show that was very successful at Nickelodeon with all that, or this show or that show, and so he clearly knows what he's doing, so let's hire him because we think he'll ultimately be able to make us money and we'll overlook the whole pedophile child fucker thing. It has nothing to do. You can make more of an argument to blame capitalism and the profit motive than you can to blame the left.
For pedophiles in Hollywood, it's a small world after all. And not just Hollywood. There are Instagram moms these days who are practically OnlyFansing their itty-bitty beauty queen daughters by having them wear skimpy bikinis and eat bananas to build social media stardom. They're called sharenters, a hybrid of sharing and parent. I call them pimps, a hybrid of pimp and
That has nothing to do with the left. Again, you're attacking the left for what reason? For what reason? By the way, culturally, historically, the idea of the young, beauty pageant participants, the child beauty pageant participants, that comes from more conservative Republican areas. Bill.
And people who believe in social justice have agreed this is wrong and this is bad, and exposing kids to an adult world of lurid costumes and garish makeup borders on abuse. Now, hurry up and get in the car. We're late for Drag Queen Story Hour.
Oh, my God. The fact that he made a seamless transition from talking about a literal convicted pedophile who got hired for a children's show, the fact that he seamlessly linked that to Drag Queen Story Hour, that's a problem with you, Bill Maher. That's a problem with you. The fact that you think those things are connected or related in any way, shape, or form. Jesus Christ. Here, I'll make this as simple as possible. The left is okay with Drag Queen Story Hour. The left is okay with gay characters in movies and cartoons. The left is okay with all those things. The left is against convicted pedophiles working on children's shows. But what does he do? Blurs the lines, meshes the two things together, and says, these things are similar, and the left is okay with that, so they're giving a pass to pedophiles on children's shows. This is so fucking dishonest.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a drag queen, but maybe it's time to admit that sometimes Drag Queen Story Hour is more for the queen than the kids. Sure, kids love a clown, but does the clown have to have tits? And when I see a 5-year-old tipping at a bar under a sign that says it's not going to lick itself, do I have to pretend that's cool in order to keep my liberal ID card?
No, you don't. I don't think that's cool. The parent shouldn't have brought the kid there. End of discussion. End of conversation. What are we doing here? Okay, here's what pisses me off about what Bill Maher is doing these days. He is 2 or 3 years behind the internet trends. And so just recently he's come to the whole, like, let's talk about wokeness. Let me say I'm a liberal, but have nearly every fucking new rules segment I do this day talk about how, man, aren't the right-wingers right about this thing and that thing, and aren't the lefties idiots and wrong about that? Like, this is so tired and so stale, and 1,000 people have done it before you. Me, I'm a classic liberal, but, you know, these lefties sure are insane and going too far on these things. Proceeds to strawman said lefties. Like, we get it. You got some positive reinforcement when you said some conservative things. Now you're leaning into it. You can stop acting like this is fucking iconoclastic or revolutionary and like, I'm the sole voice of reason on the left. You're not. You're not that.
If you want kids to be more tolerant, why not have handicapped people read them stories? Kids are more likely to encounter disabled people than drag queens in life. Jeez,
I see no problem with that. I see no problem with Drag Queen Story Hour, and I see no problem with that. I have no problem with that. In fact, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, let's have disabled people read stories to kids. Wonderful. Again, where's the beef?
Just go back to the good old days when kids were read simple stories with simple morals like, if you're a lonely single man, just make a boy out of wood. I've said it before, wokeness is not an extension of liberalism anymore. It's more often taking something so far that it becomes the opposite. Teaching kids not to hate or judge those who are different, great. Proud we got there, all for that. But at a certain point, inclusion becomes promotion. And contrary to current progressive dogma, children aren't miniature adults wise beyond their years. They're morons.
He said inclusion becomes promotion. And you don't want to promote these things. So why don't you stop playing coy and just say, I guess I'm against the inclusion thing, right? I guess, look, the whole premise of this entire new rules segment is to say the left is dumb for not giving DeSantis credit where it's due. And the left is effectively defending quiet on set and this pedophile who worked for Nickelodeon being hired by Disney. This is effectively the argument. That is total fucking horseshit. Every lefty I know was horrified by Quiet on Set. Every single lefty I know felt that way about it and was against that guy Brian Peck being hired. Probably think he should still be in prison, right? You can believe all of those things and also correctly acknowledge that this was not what DeSantis was calling out. DeSantis wasn't going on a moral crusade against pedophiles. DeSantis was making a big stink about there's some characters in Disney movies that are gay, and he's against that. Okay, well, DeSantis is wrong about that. He's wrong about that. Guys, DeSantis, the Stop Woke Act, a lot of that got slapped down because it was fucking flat out unconstitutional. The Don't Say Gay bill. Well, the way that was enforced, you couldn't even have a gay teacher put a picture on their desk of them and their spouse, because then that might lead to questions by the kids. And they don't want to allow that, so you're not allowed to put the picture up. This is what the left was saying, hey, DeSantis, you're wrong about this. This is what the point was. The point was not, DeSantis, you're wrong about this, and now we are going to end up defending pedophiles working at Nickelodeon. Like, okay. It's so fucking try hard from Bill Maher. He's bending over backwards. He's doing mental gymnastics to try to attack the left and say they're super unreasonable, but I'm the lone voice of reason that's willing to say Ron DeSantis is right. Oh, my God. So I don't know how many more of these Bill Maher segments I could do, man. It's just so tired. It's so stale. It's so, we've seen this. This is the Rubin pipeline. How many times have we seen this? I'm a liberal, but I'm the last reasonable liberal left, and I think the left is wrong about all these things. And now I will proceed to strawman the left. Give it a rest, Bill, please. All right, guys, that's the show. Love you all very much. Everybody do me a favor. Please drop a like, drop a subscription, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. Thank you for everybody who supports the show on Patreon or tips with the thanks button on YouTube. Without you guys, we couldn't do the show. I've never talked to an advertiser ever. You guys helped build the show from the ground up. Couldn't do it without you. All right, guys. I'll talk to all you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Much love. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.